Hey friends, I'm back with another video. This time I'm going to be crafting some Gothic armor. I'm also going to be doing some, I think calcified armor it's called. I'm less familiar with that one. But Gothic armor is something that can come in handy if you're playing on a TLP server where Lost Dungeons of Norath has just become available to you. I don't know how useful it is compared to other kinds of armor that were available at the time to craft. Obviously, it wouldn't be like high end, but it can be useful, especially out of all the different armors, because there were different kinds. Calcified was one of them, and but I always thought the Gothic armor was the best of all of them because it had magic resistance, which was always tough to get, and it had strength and stamina. And if you're playing like a high elf paladin, which I was at the time, it's super useful because you need that strength, you need that stamina. High elves were not sturdy. And maybe having a high elf paladin was one of the dumbest things ever. But I thought, hey, I got all that extra wisdom though, so I was able to heal myself a little more often, which I needed to. So anyway, we're going to get on that. So you need components. Let's start. I have some already. You get gargoyle granite. It usually drops off of the gargoyles that you fight in it's Lesser Fey. Like, you get the quest or the adventure in Butcher Block Mountains, and then you gotta jog over to Lesser Feydark and you enter some of those crypts. It's like part of Mistmore, supposedly, or whatever, because it's all vampires and undead that you're fighting. Well, mostly. I mean, they got those whirling thingies that are not considered undead, and those weird goblin-looking things. I don't know what the hell they were. But those were always creepy, too. But anyway, and then you've got your goblin bones that you get from these like orc mines in South Row. So you get the quest or the adventure in the Common Lands. You get it there, and then you travel to South Row for the entrance. And that's where you get the goblin bones for calcified armor. And then you get the gargoyle granite from the crypts located in Lesser Feydark. So we start by making the temper. And that is super easy. So you take a gargoyle granite, take a water flask, and boom, you've got your temper. And you've got your bone and your bread. No. What am I doing? It's early. And then you've got your bone temper. So now that I made one of each, it looks like it's trivial at 127 for the bone temper. And the granite temper is trivial at 124. Which is weird, because I thought the granite temper would be the higher level thing. So I believe that the bone temper gives you extra agility to each piece of armor. So agility is great if you've already got your strength and your stamina from, like, if you're an ogre, yeah, you're going to need that agility. So agility might be good for you. But it doesn't have magic resist. I think it's got like cold or poison resist. So that's all for the goblin bones that I had. Gonna do the granite temper. And I had a lot of bones because they're fairly a common drop. The gargoyle granite, however, is harder to come by. At least it has been for me. I think it only drops from the gargoyle guys, and you don't get a whole lot of them all the time. So yeah, hopefully I didn't fail at all because I only have a few tries. I got 7, so I don't think I failed. So that's it for making the temper. And at least you don't need to get your brewing like way up high. I mean, you can get it up to like, 130, 140 pretty easy. And here we are at the forge. So what you're going to need is medium quality ore. So 1 block of medium quality ore. And I believe a flask of water. Might need a smithing hammer. Folded sheet of metal. Yes, I was right. Okay. So, full disclosure, I'm not actually on a TLP server right now because I want to make sure while making this video that this works, and I have not gotten any gargoyle granite on that server yet, even though I'm playing on it. But I wanted to do this video. I wanted to show how to make it, and also refresh myself on how it's made on my regular Throne of Eye server. Not to mention, you could always make this armor just to skill up. So we've got all our folded sheets of metal. We've got our tempers. I only made 20 folded sheets of metal for now because I'm not going to make all of this stuff into armor right away. So now, oh, you also need to have superb leather padding, which I only got 10 of those at the moment. But you're going to need multiple sheets of metal for certain parts of the armor. I'm not sure if it's actually going to be in here already. I don't think it will be. Yeah, it's like one of those things you have to craft first. Find a blacksmith merchant that sells the plate molds that you need and buy them. I'm going to be making a small plate. There's unfortunately you gotta buy the sizes, so it's sort of ends up being limited on which race can use them. Obviously small will only be used by gnomes and dwarves and halflings and elves, so maybe froglocks too. I don't know if froglocks use medium or small. I guess I'll see once I make some. So to combine this, you will need your small breastplate mold, 3 folded sheets of medium quality metal, your granite temper, your superb leather padding, smithy hammer, and a flask of water. You combine, and boom, we have it. And here's the stats: 27 armor class, 3 strength, 4 stamina, and 6 save versus magic. So that's pretty good, I think. You know, for if you're doing, especially if you're doing Los Angeles and Norath, especially in those damn crypts, because you get a lot of enchanters in there, and you don't want them mezzing you or charming you. I don't even know if they can charm you for sure, but I definitely wouldn't want to be charmed by one of them. That would really suck. So let's try making some greaves. I know I got some a greave mold here somewhere. It's going to be the last one that I check. Or no, there it is. It was in the other stinking bag. Okay. So greave mold. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 3 sheets of metal. Leather padding. The temper. Water flask. Yes, there we go. So now we have 3 strength, 3 stamina, another 6 save versus magic, 19 AC. Make some boots. That's going to be 2 pieces. And then we got the boots. Make some arms. I wonder if it's only 1 piece of metal. No, it's got to be at least 2. Maybe 3. I'm doing something wrong. Oh, wow. I feel dumb. I screw up so much. There we go. 2 strength, 2 stamina. Ooh, let's make a helm. So the helm is 15 AC. That's pretty good AC for a helmet, especially at that era and stuff. Like I said, this isn't high-end by any means, but if, you know, you've already been doing Lost Dungeons and Norath, maybe with your main character, and you decided, hey, I want to make a paladin or something, well, here you go, here's your armor. And it weighs less than regular fine plate, at least I think so. So let's say you also want, you know, you don't have that much granite temper, and you could also supplement some pieces with the goblin bone temper and make calcified armor. So here, let's make a bracer out of the goblin temper. And the difference is, okay, so it's got save versus disease and agility. And I believe, like, if you do missions in Everquest, that would give you save versus cold. The swamp might give you save versus poison. So by having different pieces, you can have saves towards different things. Although I think the save versus magic is one of the better saves to have because it's sort of like all-purpose. And I'd rather be diseased than charmed or mezzed. So we could do a breastplate also of calcified to see what the stats are on that. So 27 AC, and we'll compare it next to the Gothic. So they got the same armor class. The difference is one has strength and stamina, one has agility, one has save versus disease, one has save versus magic. But, they're both comparable to one another. You could also do things like a visor, I believe. Let's try that. I think it's only going to be only one piece of metal. Yeah, there we go. So you could do the non-visible pieces of armor as well. Let's do a belt. We'll use the Goblin Temper. There we have a belt. Gives us some agility. So there we go. And for the record, it's usable by Warrior, Cleric, Paladin, Shadow Knight, Bard. And the races are Elf, High Elf, Dark Elf, Dwarf, Half Elf, Gnome, or Halfling. Sorry, Froglocks. So Froglocks can use the small, and Gnomes. So Wood Elf, High Elf, or Half Elf. No, that's High Elf. So Half Elves need medium. Yeah, because they're a little more human-sized. Now I'm going to try to make some calcified ringmail. So let's start with the pant pattern, like small chainmail pant pattern. 3 metal rings, at least for the pant you need 3, your bone temper, a flask of water, and a smithy hammer. You will not need superb leather padding for chain. So there we go, we got our small calcified ringmail leggings. Let's compare it to the Gothic steel greaves. And so yeah, the AC is just a little lower. And of course, it's got strength and stamina instead of agility. But you can similarly make Gothic chain or Gothic ringmail, and they still have the same amount of save versus disease or magic or whatever by the looks of it. So yeah, you could do this for your ringmail wearing classes too. Try to make a tunic here. There we go. Got our ringmail tunic. Let's try to make I got one Gothic temper left. We're going to make a Gothic tunic as well. Gothic ringmail. Plus I got to use up some of these superb paddings. I ended up buying more than I needed. Wait, I don't need the padding. Duh. Yeah, that's right. You don't need padding for Gothic. So let's compare the breastplates. Oh wait, we got a Gothic breastplate we can compare it to here. So yeah, exact same stats, except the armor class is a little bit lower for the ringmail. And you can use the ringmail as a warrior, but you can also use it as a shaman or a rogue, whereas the plate, of course, can only be used by plate mail classes. So there you have it. You can make ringmail, or you can make plate, and it's got some stats in it. It weighs less than fine plate does. At least I'm pretty sure it does. So to compare regular old school fine steel, I'm going to make a fine steel breastplate so we can take a look at the difference. So here is a Gothic steel breastplate, and here's the old school fine steel breastplate. And yes, the weight is different. Small fine steel breastplate is 7.5, where the Gothic steel is 4.1. The armor class is significantly better for the Gothic breastplate, plus you get strength and stamina. In the end, it's like the Gothic breastplate only weighs like 1.1 because that 3 strength offsets it, where you get no strength at all from fine steel. So there you go. It's an alternative to armor if you're on a TLP server that has released Lost Dungeons of Norath, and if you find yourself some gargoyle granite or some goblin bones or some of the other ingredients that lets you make some of the other armors. I'm not familiar with the other ones, and I really didn't take the time to look them up. I'll try to work on that, but it's early in the morning for me, and I really just wanted to do this. It popped into my head, and I thought, hey, for players on a TLP server who don't have access to, the newer types of armor that you get in later expansions that are just dropping all over the place, like the Defiant armors and stuff like that, this could be a pretty decent alternative. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. It'd be awesome to get monetized someday. And you have a great day and a wonderful tomorrow.